We believe the purpose of owning a business is funding your perfect life. Welcome to the next generation of growth and opportunity in the inspection industry. This is the Empire State of Mind. Empire State of Mind. Helping build companies with faster growth, higher profits, and more time freedom. Finally, a podcast for the home inspection industry and beyond. This is the Empire State of Mind. And this is your host, Matt Williams.
Well, welcome to the show. Today we have a fantastic guest that's on here, and we are going to be talking about all kinds of great things. In fact, what I'm really excited about is this guest has been in the industry for a long time and has seen all kinds of changes happen in the industry. So I want to welcome Mr. Gordon Fox to the show. Hey, Gordon, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine, Matt. I love your roll in, the sizzle reel. That was really good. The business is to fund your most perfect life. I love it.
Isn't that great? Yeah. And that's like the mission of IEB, and that's what we're doing here. And how do you, but success, right? Success ultimately is your business doing for you what you want it to do for you. And that's how you define success, really. I think it's interesting. Like, it's so tempting to look to the left and the right and see what everybody else is doing and try to compare ourselves when reality is like, I'm not them, they're not me. And what does it actually look like to fund our perfect life, man?
Yeah, excellent point, Matt. And you want to be very clear on what your perfect life is. My driving why is I believe we live in the greatest country ever, that we have unlimited opportunities available for those willing to work for it.
Yep.
I choose any day that I don't do my best. I'm dishonoring my parents, the greatest generation, my forefathers, all humanity. So yeah, it's a great life, and you want to be very clear. What is your perfect life? What does it look like right now? Because you will have multiple iterations as you move down this road of continual self-improvement and growth. Because what does success look like for you? You want to define that. You want to talk with your spouse. What does success, because what they value, you might not, vice versa. You want to be on the same page. And when you know what you're looking for, then when you see it, you know it.
Absolutely, man. That is so good. Well said. So Gordon, you've been in business for a while, 34 or 35 years. That's up for debate. How long have you been in business now?
Providing peace of mind, one home at a time, since 1989. Actually, I got my license in 88, but it didn't fit the rhyme. So
doesn't rhyme with 89. So you short yourself a year to get the rhyme down. That seems worth it. I love that. One home at a time, peace of mind since 89. Oh man. So Gordon, you've been doing this for quite a long time. How many inspectors you guys have normally or right now, or it's kind of the size of what you guys are working with?
Right now we got a dozen plus home inspectors, and then I have other verticals, other businesses, the pest control, Aquafox, weekly pool service, Arctic Fox, HVAC service.
Oh, nice. Excellent. So you're in Houston, Texas. It's a pretty big market there.
Yes.
That's pretty outstanding. So you've seen a lot. In 35 years, you've seen a lot. And I feel like right now we are in the middle of big changes. Interest rates are moving, and they have been moving back and forth. And, COVID hit, they dropped. Now they're coming back up again. But you've seen a lot of changes. What kind of changes have you had to navigate in your career as a home inspector?
All of them. 2008, had to navigate that. I went from a one-man operation, providing peace of mind, one home at a time since 1989. And my youngest child, my son, Levi, when he was a bun in the oven, I decided to, I better make this a business, more sustainable. Right. Because we were living the American dream. My wife wore a T-shirt when we met, marry me, fly free. I said, deal, done. And
is she a pilot?
She was on the phones, and she manages the gates, gets you on the plane, Continental, and they were acquired by or merged with United. And so she's been there. We've been married 30 years, and she started right before we got married. Wow. We have a lot of flight benefits. So
that's fantastic. Yeah. As an employee of an airline, you get some free flights and stuff. That's great.
yeah, so I think in 2008 there was some type of market shock uh, that happened, and basically I just cranked up the marketing, and I didn't really notice. I think in 2009 is when it finally hit me,
Yeah.
because you have I can dial in more activity and more revenue, etc. And I think in 2009 I dropped like 12% gross, and then the 2 years that followed, I forget, it was like 7.6 or 6 point something. I recouped what we lost from the 2008 within 2 years.
Wow.
Then
So you weathered
navigating,
that pretty good. I mean,
yeah,
relatively speaking, a lot of companies went out of business. A lot of people shut down. Like it was a massive hit to the real estate industry, like at every facet of the real estate industry, mortgages, titles, companies, everybody got hit hard. To only
mm-hmm.
have a 12 and then some single digit stuff like that's not bad.
Yeah. So it slid down, and then I just made it back up in the next 2 years. Just
Wow.
persistence,
Uh,
do the activities, and your
yeah.
results will follow.
So you went from single man to multi. What year did you make that change?
Son was born in 2005 or four, so
Okay.
probably about 2004 I
Okay.
started, and I did that by first investigating those that went multi-inspector firms
Mm-hmm.
at the time, and then even more so, I got close with and talked with individuals that went multi and then back down to one to see where the tripwires were.
Oh,
What's really nice with IEB and the coaching program that you have and other coaching programs, it basically puts you around with people that are various stages. And
mm-hmm.
so if you develop relationships and it's in the hallways, in the casual conversations is where you actually pick up most of your nuggets.
Yep.
And you can say, hey, I'm having a problem with this. Oh, I've been there. This is what I did. It may work for you. It may not,
Yeah.
might not. And you can actually talk with others because in your local marketplace, whatever you do, if you build widgets or whatever, in your local marketplace, the vast majority of people around you that are in your same business look at as scarcity
Yeah.
mindset with
Yeah,
a
they do.
scarcity mindset. Uh, and so being away from your market area, wherever that is, if you go outside, I remember one time I went to an associated meeting in Austin. I'm from Houston, and
Mm-hmm.
everybody in Houston was just clam shut. And I think in 1989 or 90, I went to a Terry conference in Austin or something,
Yeah.
Texas Association of Real Estate Inspectors. And I was floored by the exchange of information because there were people from all over Texas. And then when you get into a national, with national members from different marketplaces, you really get a lot of free flow of information,
Yeah.
and there's less of the zero sum game scarcity mindset.
Dude, that's so true. That's one thing I really love about the IEB community. Like at Unite conference, the first time I went, I was really blown away because I tried to network with people in my own neighborhood, my own city, and it was really hard to do that. And everybody's kind of, yeah, their lips are sealed. They want to talk too much about what they're doing because they're afraid someone's going to steal it or something. But man, I've learned so much from that community. And now we have another company is joining IEB in my market, and we've become friends over the last year or so. And so I'm really excited about that to have somebody else in the market that's the same mindset and being able to have that free flow information. I got to tell you, I think I 100% agree. I think I've gotten more benefit out of the hallway conversations than I have through the official organ. I get a lot out of the officially organized stuff, but it's the little passing conversations that happen. You and I had a little conversation before we started recording, and I was like, yeah, I'm kind of bumping my head against this. And you like, oh, we'll try this, this, and this. And I'm like, yeah, sure enough. I just got a lot out of that just in the 5 minutes before I hit record on this thing, and it's those little conversations happen. It's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, so many like little mini aha moments. And I'm sure I've provided that for others too. I don't know, but maybe I have, but they've certainly provided it for me. And yeah, man, I just tell you, being part of an organization like IEB or some other coaching group, if you don't like IEB, find a different one, but get into a coaching group and you end up getting into great conversations that are super helpful in the business. And so, okay, so 2008, that storm, you weathered that. then we had a season of growth in the industry. Now I started my company in 2019. So I mean, I'm fairly new to the industry. But then we went into COVID, which is a huge shift. That's kind of when I started. So I started 2019. I was going multi-inspector at the end of 2019, and then COVID was there, and it was just crazy. So from your perspective, though, what was it look like going into the COVID season, the year or two of COVID? That's a lot of change happening there too.
Yes. So I'm not. I am prior service, U.S. Army, Texas Army National Guard, enlisted, non-commissioned officer, commissioned officer. Then I got married. So my training is one to keep moving, make decisions, and execute on those decisions, and real time adjust fire over. So if you're dropping mortars on a target that's moving and you don't hit it, you adjust your fire. If you sit there and overanalyze, then your analysis by paralysis. It's best just to keep moving and get feedback, stimuli of what's going on. You're doing the same thing when you're driving a car.
Yep.
You're going down the road. People are moving, swerving in and out. The speeds vary. But by actually getting in the car and starting it up, and I'm going to a destination, I'm not sure how I'll get there. I'll just put it on Google Maps and I'll go there. And I will, if there's a wreck or something like that, you'll run into it. And you can then just adjust as you're moving. So the main thing is keep moving, be comfortable with change, and it will always be there. You will always have challenges. And if you're, whatever I run into, someone else has run into it before. And when you align yourself with people who you deem are successful by the standards you're using at the time, guess what? They've been hit upside the head also. They just persevered. The losers give up and throw in the towel.
It's true.
Where the ones that just keep moving, jog left, jog right, persevere, that's where success is. And so with COVID, so what happened was COVID hit. We got deemed essential business pretty shortly thereafter. We never shut down. We provided service in our IEB pods and meetings. They did a lot of, hey, what do we do with this? Ozone generation, these different things. And we were getting real-time information, weekly calls, personal phone calls. I'd be calling up different individuals. Hey, what about this? What machine are you using? Here's what I found. This develops this. And so it was basically a lot of information coming together and a lot of people taking action. And it gave us best practices, but we started rolling out full bore within 30 or 45 days. And then it was like a freight train, because what the Fed did is they dropped the cost of money down to near zero, and basically taking a 30-year fixed mortgage below 3%, to entice people to take a chance and borrow. And so once they got comfortable with it, everything just took off.
Yeah, that was
run as fast as we can.
Yep.
And then, inflation, 7-9%. All this free money, too much money chasing too few goods. It's inflation if you study economics on a macro scale. And so they started tightening the rates in March 2022. Literally, 2 years after COVID first. I know COVID because in Houston, we have the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. I'm a volunteer there, a lot of fun times. They shut down the rodeo because of COVID.
Wow.
All right. And that's how it registers in my mind in March of 2020. And so when the Fed, I was slow to react, started raising the rates, and they were raising them at 75 basis points, which was huge. It was, they haven't done 75 basis points in like 20 years prior. Right. Also, since 2008, 2010, the world has been keeping interest rates artificially low. All countries in a combined effort were printing presses and making money cheap because we have to grow out of this, So we'll make money cheap.
Grow out of it.
Grow out of it. Well, now we're growing, but now the interest rates have gone up because we have inflation. Inflation destroys the economy. Think Argentina, et cetera,
Yep.
hyperinflation, et cetera. So they have to, when you understand it, they have to do this,
They do.
right?
Well,
So
right now, people are getting
otherwise,
6-7% mortgages. Not that long ago, that was a great mortgage. In fact, it still is a great mortgage. You know,
it is.
that 2%, 2.5%, 3.5% stuff that was going on, that's not sustainable. That's not realistic. And the people who are like, well, maybe they'll come back down. I don't know if they ever will like that. Like,
Never.
yeah, no,
Not in our lifetime.
I don't think so. That was just an anomaly. That's not the norm. This what we see now, 6-7%. That's the norm. And so people are just adjusting back into it. But yeah, this inflation thing has been interesting to watch. And so in fact, what it impacts, you know, every part of our business, really, you know, and like my grocery bill at home is going up, you know, so is everybody else that works for me. Their grocery bill is going up. And so, yeah, utilities are going up. Everything's going up. It's like, well, now prices kind of got to go up on our side in order to keep paying people and keep payroll met and keep the bills paid, you know, and keep the machine running. And so it ends up prices going up again. So in your comparison, the 2008 to 2022, so between 2008 crisis and the COVID, this last 3 years, if you really get down to it, of kind of wild change, you know, is it what was more difficult to navigate?
For me was I would say both. If you look at it, the end result. So it's different causes, you know, the mortgage meltdown versus the Fed. The end result is transactions that my business depends on, real estate transactions, the sheer number volume is going down or trending down or went down, especially third quarter and fourth quarter 2022.
Yeah.
And so that's just the end result. And so how I address a shrinking volume of business, I either go out and take market share from others, or I control expenses and I realign where my money goes.
Yeah.
So it's basically just adjusting to the marketplace. And the quicker you are to do it, I was slow to do it. I really didn't realize. My guys were probably quicker to realize it, in that when it first hit in third quarter 2022, January, February, March, first, you know, whatever, when it started to hit and take effect, the guys were thinking, who'd I piss off at the office? Because now I'm not working today, right?
Right. I don't have as many inspections on my calendar, right? Are they avoiding me? What's happening? Yeah.
And so at our monthly meetings, I would bring up the numbers of what the Fed was doing and the cause and effect, so everybody understood. And I also have other businesses, and what I'm been attempting to do for the last decade is divest myself out of the seasonality or sole dependence on real estate transactions. For instance, mold inspections. Most times when you're getting a home inspection, if you're allergenic or whatever, who's doing your mold, your air quality testing?
Yeah.
Right. That's dependent on how many transactions are going on, sales. Well, I need to move outside the home sale marketplace and market to others that need my services and not just on a transaction.
Yep.
So same with, we do stucco inspections. If we do stucco inspections for homeowners, home buyers, what about all the existing homeowners? That's a larger market that is not related to the Fed funds rate or a mortgage meltdown.
Yep.
So what you're looking for in whatever services you offer, if there's a meltdown of your source of leads or source of work, then you have to analyze, what do I do and who else could benefit from the service I can provide? Can I modify my service, modify my target market, and think outside the box? And you can navigate these things.
Yeah. So what other services do you guys offer in addition to home inspection?
So we do the pest control because we
Okay.
do the WDIs. We also do Aquafox, which is weekly pool service. We do the pool inspection and then we try to convert that to service contract.
Nice.
Same way with HVAC. We do that. I had Fix It Fox, but my manpower, the challenge of that, what was it? The right guy, after about 5 years, separated. He went another way.
Yeah.
And so that's on the, what would you call it? On the shelf until I get the right people.
Yeah. Yeah. I understand that. Yeah. So you've got a few other things. So do you guys do like within the home inspection side, on the inspection side of thing, are there other ancillary services you offer? Like, do you guys do like sewer scoping and radon testing and stuff like that?
No radon in Houston because of the silty soil. Wish
Right.
there was. We're moving into water testing. We do air quality testing, sewer scoping, basically one-stop shop, one call does it all.
Yep.
Also, if you can adjust your business, modify your business so you are a one-stop shop, total solution
Mm-hmm.
for your client, for your customer, whether that's, hey, I don't do sewer inspections, but I can arrange for that guy to be out there at the same time. Or I don't do termite inspections, but I could have them out at the same time. If whatever your market, if you can expand on and be a total solution, such as, ooh, who do I get to repair all this stuff you found?
Right.
Oh, there's a repair price. You can upload it for a fee, get that. Or go to my website and here's some contractors that can help you out. So find out what your clients are wanting, needing, and are willing to pay for, and then move in that direction. So generally the 20-80 rule, Pareto principle, 20% of your activities deliver 80% of your results.
Yeah, that's true.
So I can do all types of stuff that I think my clients want. Somebody said, oh, could you do this? Could you clean gutters or whatever that service is?
Yeah.
And you can provide all these other ancillary services, but you want to look at 20% drives 80% of your revenue. So if you have ISN or Spector or something like that, find out where your revenue is coming from and focus on those activities.
Yeah.
If in your marketplace, oh, and I offer this, this, and this, I found the warranties. Oh, I offer sewer guard, roof, done,
Yeah.
done. In my marketplace, what my clients and customers, and definition of client is a realtor who refers us. That's a client. A customer is the fiduciary responsibility. They pay the bill.
Okay.
So fiduciary to them, but we get a lot of referrals from the realtors.
Yep.
Because if you know what their clients need and provide that service, because they want to be a one-stop shop. They want to recommend professionals on that
Absolutely.
kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And in my marketplace, price is not what my clients or customers' first thing is. It's not all these warranties and stuff, free moving box, all these other ancillary stuff. It is basically, can you do a top quality inspection? And that's a given. That's just to be in the marketplace that you are confident and do what you do. And if there's a problem, you take care of it. So it's not the realtor's problem. And be available within 72 hours. And one call, I can get all the services I need.
Yeah, that's
all
the
the other stuff is ancillary that they don't, it doesn't add value. All that 80% that you add on with this and this. And so if you find out whatever your market, not what you think they need, hey, I think they need babysitting so someone can watch the kids while I walk them through the inspection. You could add that. Ooh, whatever. Or you can just throw some coloring books and crayons in there and toss it at the kids, and that does it, right?
Yep.
So what does your client value and willing to pay for?
Oh, absolutely. I think that one-stop shop is where it's at. That was one move we made this last year. Well, over the course of the building the company was that we added some ancillary services along the way. And And we basically just watched and said, well, what does everybody else, like what other companies are we seeing out here when we're doing just the home inspection? And we noticed like, well, radon, that was an easy low hanging fruit for us, you know, and it was easy to add on. And we saw a fair amount of people getting radon tests. So we added that as an additional service. And then a little while later, we noticed that out here, especially, pretty much everybody gets a sewer scope. It's pretty common. Like we're talking, looks like 70+% of the houses are getting some kind of a sewer scope. And so we thought, well, let's invest in that technology and training to make sure we're doing the right thing. And then, you know, after a while we realized, oh, well, there's other, so we started adding all these extra services along the way. And so this last year we finally kind of rounded everything out and got all this stuff. So now it's one stop, but that's really helped us. One phone call, we do it all. And it's all in-house. We're not even subcontracting anything. We tried subcontracting. I actually found it difficult. The amount of effort and, you know, the labor we had to put in on the office side for us, you know, to be able to get another company out there, and we were making little to no markup, you know, and then the time effort into it all together, it just wasn't making sense. I feel like we're herding cats, you know, trying to get these other contractors to show up on time. And yeah, so we ended up in-housing everything, but that was a huge shift for us, man, doing that whole thing. I think that you're right. You got to find out what do clients actually want, what are customers looking for, and that's how I did. I just kind of watched and it's like, well, what are they actually hiring? Who are the other contractors that are showing up when we're showing up? You know, what are other services and needs? And even asking realtors is one thing I asked too. It's like, well, what other services do you commonly see during this time? And that gave me a lot of insight on what the market was actually doing. Right. Babysitting services, you know, the warranties, actually, I found most realtors were like, yeah, those seem gimmicky, you know? And I'm like, yeah, you know, I just get a real home warranty. Don't do these weird ones that the home inspectors do. So we don't offer that either, but we stand behind our product and we take care of things if we mess something up, you know, and we have insurance and all that if we need it. Yeah. So you've been navigating these different changes and now we see this. So when the third quarter, fourth quarter of 2022 kicked in, the interest rates kept climbing. And then the volume of houses dropped significantly nationwide. Like this is, in our market, it was about 50% drop of volume of houses being sold. And so we're still seeing about half the volume from a year ago here is being sold. What activities, what did you do? What was your first instinct and what did you do when you saw that happen? The volume drop and all the guys are like, hey, what's happening? I pissed somebody off at the office. And what was your initial reaction to start doing?
So in first aid, I think it's make sure they're breathing, and then stop the blood loss, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Stop the blood. So stop the red, and we were hemorrhaging cash.
Okay.
Our overhead was built. We were investing for growth, and you need to know the number. For me, it's a six-figure investment when I bring on a new home inspector, right?
Yeah, it's very expensive.
Very expensive. And so you need to know what that true cost is, especially while you're training them up and as you release them, et cetera, that kind of stuff. And so we had to shift from growth mode. I was slow to recognize it, right? Because I have a lot of stuff. I travel a lot, et cetera.
Yeah.
And so what I did was I controlled the blood loss, and I went to my legacy inspectors. I went to the back end of IEB, and they have an economic model.
They do.
And so I studied that. And because Greg and I are good friends and go back a long way, and he was very transparent on his calls, IEB calls, et cetera. Hey, here's the pain point we had.
Yeah.
And so they have economic models of certain percentages. I went with the 45, 25, 20, 10. 45% is your all-in service costs of your home inspectors. The 25% is your operations, which is your rent, your call center, all that kind of stuff. 20% is your profit, and then 10% is for your marketing to keep the machine running.
Yeah, that's exactly the model I follow. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I started way back when, and I was hiring 1099s and giving them 50%.
Ooh, right.
Which was fine, right? And then what was it? Then when I shifted in 2015, interesting story. So what was happening if you have a 1099 model, and our prices were, we tend to be a market leader in pricing and quality of service. You get what you pay for.
Yep.
what I was finding in the summer, because with the 1099, you have IRS 21 point rules. If you violate some of those and they rule to your detriment, you can be slapped upside the head with a heavy fine.
Oh, massive. Yeah.
And of those 21 points, they're not all equally weighted. Some are more important than others.
Mm-hmm.
So they had control over their schedule, etc. And so what I found was I was running at a capacity of only 50 inspections a week. That's all I could do in the summertime with a large number of inspectors because they were making themselves unavailable.
Yeah.
Then in the wintertime, when the market slows, because I have a graph, and each month is a certain percentage of my total revenue for the year. And as you run your business, if you slice it up, slice and dice it, you know what percentage of your business comes in a particular month in your locale.
Yep.
And then you can actually pretty much lock it in the first couple months, first quarter. You know what you're, barring some shock, you'll know what you're going to come up with at the end of the year.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Okay. So what I found was when the market would slow down and I would increase my marketing to make the phone ring, and theirs would stop because they did no marketing, they'd be available when things were slowing down. So then I made it where, hey, if you're not available with me when it's fast times, you'll be back of the bus. I'm going to feed the guys 2 inspections a day that ate 2 inspections a day with me during the fast times.
Yep. No, that's a good way
So
to
in
do it.
2015, I recognized that that model was not efficient and I needed to go with the W-2. So third quarter and fourth quarter 2015, I laid it out. These numbers don't work for me, etc. Here's an offer. This is what I can do. But because you're now an employee, taxes, etc., bump, 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 here's what I can give you. And I did not know my true cost. And so I go, my portion of the taxes is 7.25%. So I'll go from 50% giving it to you. I'll give you 42%. But I did not factor in all the other costs because I did not have that economic model, the inspector cost calculator, which is on the back end of the IEB website.
That's actually on the front side. You don't even have to be an IEB member, and the inspector cost calculator is available to you. That is an eye-opening tool. If you are thinking about going multi-inspector, or maybe you've started multi-inspector and you're having like a budget crunch, that tool is available for free on the IEB website on the front side. And that thing changed my life. That calculator and meeting with IEB people, I was like, whoa, I need to make sure I get my stuff right. But yeah, because you'll grow yourself into bankruptcy if you don't have that set up right.
Exactly. And so 2015 started 2016. I had 4 guys decline my offer to continue, and out the door walked $470,000 worth of 2015 revenue.
Wow.
Of 1099. They weren't available as much during the summertime. And 2016 with W-2s, I made all that back plus another 2% in 2016.
That's awesome.
So you'll run into challenges, but if you work through them and don't just throw your hands up, and that's why, having a mastermind group or people you can bounce ideas off, those things can work. Yeah. So fast forward to third, fourth quarter, 2022, stop the blood loss. I then, because what I was doing was I was allowing once I did the inspector cost calculator, and my all-in service costs should be no more than 45%. And I can't pay my guy 45% because of the tax. You do the inspector cost calculator.
Yep.
Basically, what I was doing was I was being a good guy. I was letting my 42% legacy guys naturally attrit out. A lot of inspectors average about 6 years. Yes, some stay the full length. Some get out way before, but about 6 to 7 years, they're ready for a change. The 7-year itch, whatever that means.
Yeah.
I'm ready for a change. I want more opportunity, etc. And so basically I approached my guys third quarter 2022. This is unsustainable. And I approached my guys. I need to rearrange this because when have your sights set for a $10 million operation, there are certain levels of management and people
Mm-hmm.
that you have to pay for, expenses that have to be paid for.
Yeah.
And so I basically put all my my legacy 42% guys on notice. Come January 1st, I need to rearrange. We need
Yeah.
to go back down to this percentage, because that way it then got to break the business model, and
Yep.
then for the next step. So you have certain limits at 1 million, 3 to 5, at 10 million, there are ceilings.
Hmm.
And if you talk with certain IEB members, they actually break their economic models fairly rapidly, or they know when they're going to break or be unsustainable. And
Yeah.
so, to an entrepreneur who's a home inspector, a one man shop, or has 2 or 3 guys, uh, you need to have conversations with those that have broken through those barriers,
Yeah.
because your thought processes are different. The manner in which you handle the business is different if you want to grow. And it's all good if you want to stay if you got a $1 million operation and you are clearing 20% profit, and you're making 6 figures, 200,000 a
Yep.
year. That might be a good place just to keep it right there.
Yeah, that's a great size company, and you can provide really well for your family. And again, back to the beginning, we talked about success is what you define it, like what is success is what you want it to be. And maybe that's what it is. I'm out of the field and I'm making 150 grand a year, and I'm not
Mhm.
doing the inspections. I'm just running the company. If that's your idea of success, then you're winning, right? At that point. And yeah, I've heard explained as like there's plateaus, or there's different levels that your company has to go to, and there's like certain plateaus are just well functioning, very efficient machines, and then but to climb up to the next plateau is an inefficient process of climbing up that hill to get to that next plateau in order to find that next level of efficiency, and that's where we see that all the time, and so you have these different efficiency levels that are there, right? You have, was it like 5 or 6 guys in the field? You only have to have one manager overseeing that many inspectors, one like lead inspector over that. But if you're going to go to 12 or 15 people in the field, well, now you might need to divide that into 2 different teams with 2 different lead inspectors who are doing quality control over those other guys. And so there's that awkward space between the one level and the next level of where, like, yeah, the efficiencies aren't there. And so, yeah, you have to have enough profit in the business to be able to do that, man, right? You see that, like, the guys in the field are actually generating the revenue. But there's people that are like non-revenue generating, such as the people answering the phones and doing the sales. And that side of it is, I mean, it technically is feeding the machine, but you got to have management in place to be able to oversee and make sure everything's happening the right way. And yeah, you got to have your percentages right. And that's where that inspector calculator really comes in to play. So here we are. I'm personally seeing a turnaround. Like, here we are, March, April, May. We're actually recording this in the middle of May. I'm not sure if it's come out in May or June, but we're seeing a turnaround coming out right now in the market. I'm seeing it in my market, at least. The traffic is up. My business is pretty full, and my capacity is starting to, like, I'm pretty, like, I'm actually 100% booked for the next 4 days. And right now, we were just talking about that beforehand, and I'm booking into day number 5. So you say a 72-hour rule. Where do you get that from? And like, if you're booked out more than 72 hours, you're losing business.
Yeah, the marketplace tells me that. So
Okay.
in my marketplace, the term is option period. Other locations might be due diligence.
Uh-huh.
There's a contractual agreement that they will have their inspections done and their decision to go or no go within a certain amount of days. And that option period is fully negotiable.
Yep.
And just like the down payment and all those things.
Yeah.
And so
What's
you
it in
get your,
Texas? Is there like a kind of a standard in Houston that is pretty normal?
the standard used to be 10 days, and they were 10 calendar days, not 10 business days, not 2 weeks, but 10 calendar days. And as the market with COVID and all that heated up, and we had multiple offer situations, that got reduced to 7-day, 5-day,
Wow.
72 hours. Literally,
Wow.
you
Wow.
got to, poop or get off the pot, because I've got a dozen people behind you, and I want a $1,000 option period that you're going to have 72 hours to finalize and go forward.
Yeah.
So you do this by asking your the realtors who use you the most, those are the ones you talk to. You want a relationship with them. What's going on in the marketplace? What are you seeing with option period? Well, guess what? If the option period is 7 days, they don't want to wait 3 to 4 days before they have a home inspection, find out what the issues are, and then make a decision, because generally they want a day or two or more to figure out what's it going to cost to fix this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you think of convenience, one realtor, big team, yesterday, today's Tuesday, right? Monday, I was doing my market route. I was doing my market research. HEB, local Texas-wide food, what do you call it? Grocery store.
Okay.
Yeah, they went up from, she has her stuff delivered to the house. So think Uber Eats, you're paying for the convenience of getting it delivered.
Yeah.
Individuals, they don't want to wait, and they will pay more to get the service they need, because I value my time.
Mm-hmm.
And so in my marketplace, the promise we have, used to have, still have, is we'll have, when your client calls, within 72 hours, we'll be able to book, or you get $100 off, right? Wow. So okay. If you're booked too far in advance and they call up, they'll take that slot. Your customer service rep, your CSR, will do all the work, take the information down, and then they'll continue to call. They'll lock in you at 7 days, but they're calling around for someone cheaper and faster. And actually, it's not cheaper and faster, it's faster. Yeah, I can get somebody faster out there in 2 days. Yep. I really don't care about the price. $100 difference, a $200 difference does not make a hill of beans.
No, it doesn't matter.
Especially if you got a good reputation, like you're one of the top 3 in the marketplace.
Yeah.
These are the guys to go. People want to use us, but if we're booked too far out, I can't. I'll go with a lesser name because I need to have it. So what we have is, when we're booked too far out, we have higher attrition rate, cancellations. Mm-hmm. And so what we do is, when we start booking out, getting close to that 72-hour window, we raise our prices. We jack them up. It is no different than surge pricing when you go out at night in an Uber at 8 o'clock at night, and then what you pay to get to the bar or whatever restaurant, and then when you step out of there at 2 o'clock in the morning, guess what? Your price is a lot higher.
It is.
Surge pricing. If you travel by airline and you put your butt in a seat, are you aware that every other person around you probably paid something more or less than you?
Right.
If you think, oh, they all paid the same, we're all sitting in the same class of seat, you are wrong.
Yeah, it depends what time they shopped and bought that thing, right?
Yep. And if they use the same device and shop the rates, once you ping, their algorithms will ping, oh, he keeps looking at that. Now I'm going to edge the price up, because they have artificial intelligence. If you keep looking at this, guess what? I know that if I raise the price 10 or 20 bucks, you will now book instead of waiting. Okay.
Yeah. Because the price is going up, and I don't, right. It's so true. Okay. So true.
So I have what's called airline pricing.
Okay.
And it's not set in stone. Anybody on this call who has their prices published on their website or on a flyer, I don't need to tell you you're wrong, because I don't really care what you do. I really don't. Right. It doesn't affect me. Right. I would suggest you rethink that policy of posting. All right. If you're booked out more than 72 hours and I used to brag. When I was a 2 or 3 man shop, mm-hmm. I had a voicemail. I would not answer the phone. My phone would say, hey, Gordon Fox, inspection room, providing peace of mind, 100 times, 1989. My first available opening is, and I would put the date. I would update it every day. If that works for you, please leave a message. And after I'm done with my job, I'm possibly up on a roof, in an attic, or walking a client, and I'll call you back. If not, here, call this guy, call somebody else. And I would actually put my buddies' names in there. And all the ones that left messages were pre-qualified. I want Fox.
Wow.
I had limited availability. And guess what? Did they really care about my pricing? No,
Nope.
not at all.
They wanted you.
They wanted me. And
Yep.
so everybody on this call, if you think pricing is the main factor why people choose you, I suggest you rethink that position.
Wow. Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah. I've never published our prices. People will ask, and then I say it's based on square footage, and it, starts here and and people are normally fine with that. Realtors and brokers and whatnot. They're like, yeah, that's fine. That works, and they don't really care. They you're somewhere in the neighborhood of what a home inspection costs. If the average home inspection's $300, $500 in your market, $600, whatever, and you're charging $1,500, okay, well now they're going to be like, yeah, all right. But if you're in the same neighborhood as everybody else, and maybe in the top end of the range, you're right, it doesn't matter. If your quality's good and your availability's there and you get the job done and you're providing the service that everybody wants, the price isn't the number one. In fact, people who call up and price is their number one concern, like we have a script for that. And so we actually have that, and we're like, oh, is that, the price is your number one concern? Fantastic. The cheapest inspector in town is, and we literally list off that company, and we say, here's their phone number. If you want the cheapest price, the cheapest inspection in town, it's this guy over here. If you're looking for a high quality inspection, then we're the ones that can handle that for you, And so, and we kind of move on from there. And it's like, just to make the point of like, we're not the cheapest. And if that's, you want to save $25, $50 on your $500,000, $800,000 purchase, come on. Like, that's really not the main focus here. It's they want the peace of mind that comes one house at a time since 1989. I got that in my head now. I'm stuck, folks. I'm stuck. You got me. And so it works. So yeah, but if they want that peace of mind one house at a time, it's like, well, this is going to cost you this, $999. Yeah. So it's see that, $999. I like that. Or $599. Oh man, look at this. Since 1989. Yeah. Then our inspectors be looking fine.
Yep.
There we go. We got good looking dudes. Yeah. Send them on out. Yeah.
Also, I would challenge you, if the person is most concerned about price, that is not your ideal client, not your ideal customer. If they're focused solely on price, then you live and die by price.
Yep.
Right.
Man, that's so good.
And generally, when they're really tight on their money, what type of homes do you think they're buying?
Yep.
Deferred maintenance homes. So you're actually working harder for less money. Also, you need to know the 20-80 rule. 20% of the agents do 80% of the business.
Yep.
The other 80% do the 20%. They're basically 20% of the agents are the lions on the Serengeti. Mm-hmm. The other 80% of the agents are the hyenas that are nicking at the carcass and biting each other to get a piece of that carcass.
100%.
And so
yeah,
what we find, I tend to look at numbers because I want to understand things. And what we find, if I'm going to do simple numbers, 1,000, if 1,000 agents use us in a year's time, right? Just 1,000, literally about 70%, 700 will be one and dones.
Yes.
One and dones. Okay.
Yep.
For 700 inspections.
Yes.
The
I see
other
that too.
30%, the other 20% will be much larger, and we cater to those, to the point that the problem with COVID was we were booked out too far. We burned through a lot of goodwill because our pricing strategy, surge pricing, we just cranked it down because Fox is always looking at, hey, we're booked out 3 days. Wrong. We're leaving money on the table. We're screwing people. We had our best realtors, referrals, working partners, whatever name you want to or adjective you want to describe them. They call and go, what do you mean you can't fit me in for 5 days? Yeah. I'm so-and-so. Do you know how much business I give you?
Yeah.
We actually had a secret word for our top 20%. Our top 20% of the agents deliver 58% of our business.
Yes.
And so what happens when the market was running and gunning, our calendar would fill up with 70% of these one and dones, right? And so they take up prime spots. And so what we're doing was the last 2 slots of any day were only made available to those high producing agents that were part of our top 20 or top 30%.
So like a VIP club of top performing agents, and you
Yes.
had reserved spots in your calendar for those top performing people. That's brilliant. The answer that I had during that season, because it was me and another guy starting out when COVID hit, it was me plus one more. And then but I'd already been full. I was doing 3 inspections a day, 6 days a week, and then my VIPs are calling me up and it's like, oh, I'll do it on Sunday, cause you don't want to say no, because it's like, you don't want to, you have this relationship built and it was just sleeping and working. I slept and worked for 2 years, and it just about killed me. But yeah, that was a tough season, man. So that was brilliant. See, if I had my head on my shoulders, right, I would have had some VIP spots held for my VIP realtors. That's pretty clever. I'm not sure. I think I was just so overworked. I couldn't even think straight,
You get, it is very common to get so far into the weeds of doing the actual thing. You don't take the time out to think about. I generally get up very early in the morning between 02 and 04 a.m. I will work on my business in those hours. For some reason, I've been married 30 years and the wife still expects that when she walks into the room, I'm supposed to drop everything I'm doing and worship her and pay attention to her.
Yeah.
And she'll make comments and I stay very focused. So whenever she says something, I'm distracted, right?
Yep.
So I found, and same with the kids, as the kids were growing up, for some reason, they expect to be the center of my world, right? Who am I to disappoint? So I get up really early and I work on the business. And then about 07:30, making coffee for the wife. We sit down, we talk, discuss, etc. And then about 0900, I'm working in the business, doing the stuff that needs to get done. And then when I get home about 1600, 1700, I'm done. I'm not going through and now it's family time, that kind of stuff.
Right.
And so you definitely need to take time out to figure out what is your perfect life. And when you're really in a state of, there are certain emotions that I've recognized that when I feel them, I need to pause and step back. And those are frustration, irritation, impatience, those type of emotions. If I feel that, then something's going on that I need to back up. And I do a lot of power naps of 5 or 10 minutes a day because, like any computer system, if you have too many windows open, too much stuff going on, competing for your attention, it slows everything down.
Yeah.
And if you are Gary Keller, the one thing, if you have multiple priorities, then you have no priorities. So what's the one thing that if I did right now would make everything else easier or not or irrelevant? And so at this time, what is the one thing I should focus on? And so I can tell you when I'm at work, I'm not thinking about my kids, who my daughter's dating, are they driving safe or not? I do that on my off hours. And when I'm with my family, I'm not thinking about the business. I am present where I'm at. And so what I found was during the workday, when I lack direction, because I've got too many windows open, I will close my eyes, do some deep breaths. I think it's meditating, as they call it. But I'll be in a recliner and I'll be almost horizontal. And 5 or 10 minutes, boom, I wake up. I'm totally refreshed. And I now start new because my day starts, I am fresh and I stay focused. So whenever I get unfocused because I've got too many windows open or too many thoughts going on, I just clear the calendar and then I jump back in.
So I love your discipline on that. Like you're saying, like when I'm at work, I'm thinking about work. When I'm at home, I'm thinking about home. It's so easy for everything to get bled together and get all convoluted in our minds and be like kind of living in this distracted place. So that's really incredible. I kind of let myself get to the really bad place working as much as I was, and it wasn't until the end of in really middle of 22, where I really tried making some big changes. Beginning of 22, I made a commitment. I'm going to make these changes. And then, it took me a few months to get everything in place, but to get my life back in balance again. And so to where I wasn't just sleeping and working. And I got to tell you, my life is so much better now. The business is better. We're more profitable. Everything's better than it now that I've slowed down and calibrated. But it takes incredible discipline to be able to do that. And you've been doing it now for a long time, so maybe it doesn't feel as hard. But I think making the initial change from everything connects to everything into, no, this is my time. I'm gonna work on this one thing for now. That takes incredible discipline to be able to, mental discipline to be able to do that. So that's pretty amazing. Yeah. Well, Gordon's been really great to have you on the show, man. Like, this has been a really great conversation. I've loved having you on. And in fact, do people want to get a hold of you? And what's the best way for someone to contact you?
Email. I generally have about 5,000 emails in queue. I only look at my emails when I do look at them, between 02 and 06.
Okay.
Cell phone, don't bother me.
Gotcha.
You can text my cell phone, but you have to identify who you are and what you want.
Yeah.
If you call my office and you want my number, they'll say, I'll take a message.
Yeah.
Because with realtors, I tell them, this is my direct cell number, right?
Yeah.
And I get very seldom calls. If you don't have my cell phone number, you don't have it, and there's a reason for it.
Yeah.
And so you want to call my office, and you need to let them know who you are and why you're calling. Yeah. Because if they do it right, say, oh, he knows me. Everybody knows Fox. Oh, I'm from rodeo. I'm from Scouts. I've known him for 20 years. Oh, good. Then you should have a cell phone number. No, I don't. Well, just have him call me.
Yeah.
And my people are programmed to say, he will not call you unless you give me the information of what you want to talk about.
What's your office number?
713-723-3330. Again, 713-723-3330.
I love your radio voice. Like, you kick that in like every once in a while, and it's really funny. You always do it at the most opportune moments as well. I love it. Even like at the Unite conference, the first time I saw you, you had your radio voice and you were doing something, and I was like, that guy's hilarious. Like, I love his radio voice. So the oh yeah thing.
Booyah!
Yeah, exactly.
Matt, the man, the myth, the legendary Williams is up next.
I think you should be hosting these events now on stage, doing like the announcing the guests, the speakers that are coming up. Yeah, that would be hilarious.
Mark wants to get my voice recorded. Mark Hummel.
Yeah,
I'm on my conference call with him today at 4, and he wants to get, so he has those sound bites pre-recorded.
That's hilarious. Like a button on the back, they can just hit the button and be like, booyah. Right. That is awesome, man. Well, Gordon, it's been great having you on the show. And thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to come and hang out with me and just chat about business and saying thank you so much. And I can't wait to see you around at some of these events.
You're going to be at San Antonio?
I will. Yep. I'll be at the San Antonio Unite. Absolutely. You're going to be there?
Absolutely. Me and 3 of my team members.
That's fantastic. I'm bringing a few people myself, so I can't wait to see you then.
Excellent. Thank you, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
You've been listening to Empire State of Mind for the home inspection industry and beyond. Our passion is to elevate the home inspection industry with mindset, strategy, and tools. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Make sure to like, rate, and review. For more, follow on Instagram at IEB Coaching. And don't forget to hit the website at www.iebcoaching.com. Learn about IEB at no cost and have all your questions answered on our open call once a month on the 3rd week of the month. We hope to see you there, and we'll see you next time on the Empire State of Mind.